Last class in this class, I feel pretty good about that. Step 2 is finding the critical value, looking up in the t-table, and then drawing a picture. So you're going to draw your mound, you're going to draw your other line here, and then wherever your critical value is, say your critical value is negative 2.3, negative 2.3, 3. And then shade the rejection area, the guilty area, it's good to call it the rejection area. Rejection or guilty area, so you know that you're rejecting H naught in this area. So draw your line, shade. Then find your test stat. That's your third step. And then put your test stat wherever it goes. If your test stat is over here, then it's guilty. If it's over here, then it's not guilty, if it's anywhere in this range. Step 4 is make the decision. So you're going to see whether you're in the guilty range or not. Your two options for this, step 4, maybe make a note, is your two options are either reject or do not reject. So do not reject H naught, or it might be reject H naught. So you're either going to say reject H naught or do not reject H naught. That's step 4. That's it. That's all you're putting for step 4 is either reject H naught, do not reject H naught. Step 5 is all about your summarizing results for your claim. For your claim. So that's all about your claim. Step 4 is only about H naught, only. H naught's in here. Step 5, you should not have the word H naught in there at all. It's all about, I'll go through it. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. I think that'll be easier. So here, can somebody mute themselves, whoever's doing that, making that noise? Okay, thank you. So step 5, it's how does your claim relate to rejecting H naught? So don't forget, if H naught is your claim, then rejecting H naught rejects your claim, right? In other words, if I say, oh, H naught's bad, then my claim is bad, if H naught is my claim, right? But if H1 is your claim, then rejecting H naught means that your claim is good. It supports your claim. So those are the words you're going to use in step 5 in the summary. And I'll show you what I'm talking about just as we maybe let's go through one. I think it'll be easier. Noe, can you read this first part? Just the words up top here.
Example, obese young people. A researcher claims that based on information obtained from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 70% of young people ages 2 through 19 are obese. To test this claim, she randomly selected 200 people and found that 42 were obese at A equals 0.05. Is there another rejected claim?
Sorry, it's supposed to be alpha. My bad. Put that alpha. Okay. So, state the hypothesis and identify the claim. So first, find my claim. Researcher claims, based on the information, that 17% are obese. So she claims that 17 are. 17 is. So the proportion is 17%. So her claim is that P is equal to 17%. Everybody on board with that part? Oops. Where'd it go? Oh, maybe it's here. Okay, good. So then you're going to write down H naught. H naught, again, is always going to be always equals. So it's going to, is that P is equal to whatever this number here is, 0.17. Since my claim is H naught, then H1 has to become the opposite of my claim. It becomes not equal to. All right. So then comes the thing of, Is H naught my claim? Yes. Since H naught's my claim, then I'm going to use the word reject for my step 5, because that means that if I reject H naught, rejecting H naught rejects my claim, because they go together. So I'll keep that in the back burner for step 5. And then step 2, find the critical value. So for step 2, I'm going to find the critical value. Alpha's 0.05. Look it up on my table, two-tailed tests. I'm going to get 1.96. So it's going to be positive, negative 1.96. So then I'm going to draw a little picture. That's kind of a bad picture, but that's okay. And I'm going to shade over here, shade over there. This is negative 1.96. And this over here would be positive 1.96. So now I've found my critical value, and I've drawn a picture and shaded correctly. Step 3. So you guys should be doing this on your handout, right? You guys are writing in the claim. This is page 2, right? So you've done step 1. You've written down the claim, H naught and H1. You've written down step 2. The critical value is equal to positive, negative 1.96, and you've drawn your picture just like this, and shaded, put in your negative 1.96 and your positive 1.96. You guys should have all that done so far. All right, and then we're going to go to step 3, computing the test stat. Test value and test stat are the same thing. Some people call them test stat, some people call them test value. All right, so remember, my claim is that claim again was that P is equal to 0.17. That's my P. It's not my P hat. P hat, you got to find the word. You got to find the word selected or random selected or sample, right? So here, selected and sample are the same thing. Selected, random selected 200 people, and found that 42 were obese. So that means that my P hat, my sample, is going to be based off of this. It's going to be P hat is going to equal 42 over 200. Okay. Good. All right, so then I know that my P is equal to 0.17 because that's what I have in my claim. Again, remember, this comes from your claim. So then my Q would be 1 minus that, or 0.83. Then I need to figure out how to calculate that. So we'll calculate that. So our test stat, what if I use my finger, is equal to, oh, that's not too bad, 0.21 minus 0.17 over square root of 0.17 times 0.83 over, how many people do we sample? 200? 200. Good. So that will be my test value. And magically, I'll find that my test value is 1.51. Good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put that in. On your sheet, you should go ahead and put that into your previous stuff. 1.51, it should be somewhere right in, whoops, should be somewhere right in around here. 1.51. My test stat, maybe label it test stat. Is it in the guilty region or the non-guilty region, guys? What do you guys think? Is it in the guilty rejection region? Yeah, it's not. This is in the not guilty region. Exactly, not guilty region. So, step 4, pretty straightforward, we would say step 4 is do not reject H naught, because it's not in the guilty region. You guys can kind of see it's totally not guilty there. So this is all you guys have to write down is this part right here, do not reject H naught. Don't worry about the rest of this stuff. That's just more information for you guys. Just write down this right here for step 4. And then step 5. Okay, so step 5. Is everybody paying attention? This gets tricky, so I need you guys to focus. Step 5. These parts stay the same. Not everything in black. They're blank, enough evidence to blank the claim, and then whatever the claim is, write down the words verbatim, whatever the claim was, that 70% of young people are obese. Okay, great. So those parts, those are fixed. Those are always going to be the same no matter what you end up getting. Enough evidence to blank the claim, that, and then whatever the claim is. What changes are these two things in color. So this first one, reject, depends entirely upon step 1. So this comes from step 1. If H naught's the claim, then you're going to use the word reject. I'm going to put it up here. If H1's the claim, then you're going to use the word support there. And that's all there really is to it. It's just those pieces. So this reject comes from this part here. It comes from step 1. If H naught's the claim, then you use the word reject. If in step 1, H1 was the claim, you're going to use the word support there. This other piece over here, the is and is not, this rests entirely upon step 4. So if this is all about step 4. If you reject H naught, then there is enough evidence. If you do not reject, then you have not enough evidence. Oops. So you're either going to say that there is or is not, depending upon step 4. If step 4, if you rejected H naught, then you would have enough evidence, right? Because remember, this is the guilty region. If he's guilty, then you had enough evidence. If he's not guilty, that means in this white region, that means you did not have enough evidence. So this is either going to be is or is not, depending upon whether or not you rejected H naught. Reject H naught, you had enough evidence. Right? Because rejecting H naught means he's guilty. If you did not reject H naught, see I did not reject H naught? It's in here, we did not have enough evidence. So there's not enough evidence. And this is important. Let me say this one time. It's not the same to say not enough evidence to reject. It's not the same as saying there's enough evidence to support, because you don't know for sure. Maybe it was good, maybe it's not. Let me, I'll talk about it again next class, because I think it's going to be too much information you guys taking at once. But not enough evidence to reject something does not mean that it's true. And, you know, I could be right over here. I could be right on the edge, right here. And just because I don't have enough evidence to reject the claim doesn't mean the claim is true. The claim might be true. I just don't have enough evidence to prove it. It might very well be that, you know, that 17% of young people, that it's not true, that more than 17% of young people are obese. I just can't prove that it's not. I don't have enough evidence to prove it. So it's not the same as enough evidence to support it, because I can't prove that 17% are. I just can't prove that they're not. That's less strong of a comment. All right, so do you guys want? I guess we should do this one together. We'll do this next example on the next page together, and I'm going to kind of try to walk you through it in the next 5 minutes. We'll try to sort of do it kind of together. So first step, draw a little number 1 here, and find your claim. Claim, and then find your H0 and your H1. Everybody do it.